All right. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone's good. It's Thursday. I want to thank my day ones, my day twos, my week threes, and everybody that's new coming on to this session. So we're gonna get the party started. So again, thank you guys for coming. Thank you for the returning folks. Thank you for the new people. And for anybody that is new, to give you a quick rundown how this all works, is that we got Reggie's tip of the week for personal branding. We have the challenge of the week. We also have the guest of the week. And this week, we are going to be featuring Katrina Chaves, who's going to be talking to us today. And the topic that we will be covering is the power of networking. So we're just going to get started. I'm going to share my screens. Bear with me a moment. All right, you guys can all see that. So let's do this. All right, quick recap of last week. We had a really good session. We talked about this time next year. I shared with you a this time next year moment for me personally, and that was I had a chance to present at the Get Hired conference at U of T last week. Over 200 people attended. It was such a great time. It was an honor. It was a privilege. Loved it. We talked about reinventing yourself and what that meant. We talked about the BOGO concept, the 2 for 1. What that essentially means is that a lot of people will tell you, depending on what you're trying to focus on, they'll say, just focus on that one thing and that one thing only. But you know what? We have one life to live. Why don't we try to conquer as much as we can and see how we could actually, it's like spaghetti to a wall, see what sticks, right? Eventually, you're going to want to be able to niche down, but we can always talk about that later. And then we also had a special guest, Melanie Russo, Money Mama. I got a lot of positive feedback from her after that conversation. It was very touching, very emotional, and the mere fact is that she just kept it super real. And this is what these sessions are all about. It's you don't see me in a suit, you don't see me in a top hat. I just speak the truth, right? And then the Amazon challenge. So every week, you guys will have a chance to win an Amazon gift card based on the challenges that I put out there. So the ones that participated, thank you so much. The method to the madness on that particular challenge is that I wanted you guys to reshare that post as well as tag people, because that's what we should be doing. And it kind of dovetails in today's topic, which is about networking. It's about paying it forward. That's what we need to do for each other in order to win. And then remind me about who won. Okay, like I said, I got a lot of feedback about Melanie. So air high five to Melanie. Everybody give air high five to Melanie again. She did an awesome job last week. Really proud of her. I had the pleasure of coaching her for a little bit. And I'm super excited to see how well she's flourished. So awesome job, Melanie. Now let's get into the power of networking, what that's all about. It's super important. I'll tell you why. But I just want to kind of start with some stories here first that kind of helped me in my career in terms of anything that I wanted to do. And it was always by networking. So I'm going to start with this person here first, Damian Wilson, and he's got an interesting story. I used to work with him at Rogers back in the day, and he got his start. He was working in a call center at TELUS, and he always had aspirations to work in marketing. So what he did is that he was resilient, and his networking strategy was, well, I work in the call center. I want to get into marketing. I don't really have the experience because I'm also going to school at the same time too. So what I'll do is I want to work for you guys for free, as like an unpaid internship. So what he was doing is that he was working in the call center, 9 to 5, going to school in the evenings, but then part-time, and then part-time working in the marketing department to showcase his value. Since then, he's now become an AVP at Manulife, which was his last position that he held. So he's always made sure to keep in contact with his contacts, On Christmas, he'll send them a special note. It's always about that engagement. So is the grass really greener on the other side of the fence? So this speaks near and dear to my heart because I left a job that I was working at Rogers for 5 years because I felt like I need to get paid more. Because they always told me in order to get paid more, you gotta leave. So that's what I did. Unfortunately, when I went to the other company, I hated it. I hated my life. The culture was just toxic. Turnover was super high. I'd say once every month, there was somebody on my direct team that left. But within 6 months, I still kept in contact with my old boss at Rogers. And as a result, I told him my frustrations. I said, this is not for me. And he took me back. But that's because I maintained that relationship. And that's what networking does for you. Hannah, we had Hannah first week. She's a networking bee. She can tell you all about this. She, even for my speaking engagements and events that I participate in, she's really good at connecting, making sure that, she displays empathy. She sympathizes with you. She's proactive in her approach. She has a list of people that she keeps in contact because those key people will help elevate her and take her to the next level. But it's super genuine, right? And that's the way that we need to approach these networking relationships. Why do you think we're on this Zoom series today? It's about networking. So for all you guys, I want you at any point in time, feel free to drop your handles, whether it be LinkedIn, IG, in terms of how you guys want to connect, and let's do it. Interesting story. So the gentleman here in the picture with me, his name is Prashant. So the way I met this gentleman was at a job interview. He's a VP at Adidas, and I went in and I just said, obviously we just had a chat about potential job opportunity. Lo and behold, that was the first time I ever met him in life. We just started talking about all the stuff that I was doing. I was just calm, cool, casual, just myself. And what it led to was a mentorship opportunity. I had multiple job offers at that time. I decided to take another one. But throughout that sequence of events, we still kept in contact. He's actually the person that provided me with the promo discounts for Adidas products. And that just shows you the power of networking. And I offered those promo codes to you guys within the first 2 weeks because it's all about paying it forward. But you'll never know who you meet along the way. Thailand. I had an awesome opportunity to go to Thailand last year. And even while on vacation, I'm still networking. This week in particular, I met a fellow, he's in Singapore. And even this week, we still touch base, right? There's a cool app idea that I have. I wish I could share this with you guys right now, but it's under NDA. But he's helping me source different developers out in Singapore and India. So I just don't keep it just within my region. You got to expand it. This one. So this image represents, because I made it a mission to go to TechTO. Before COVID-19, they had these in person, obviously, but every month they had a networking event. And I said to myself, you know what, I'm going to challenge myself to stand up in front of the crowd to address about 500 odd people and let them know what I do. So they give you like an open mic opportunity. And I said, I'm going to do it. And what I did is I just stood up in front of the crowd and I talked about the podcast that I created I created in January. Everybody started laughing because of the name. So imagine 500 people laughing at me because I said, okay, I'm just here because I want to promote my podcast about nothing. And they're like, what? The podcast is about nothing? But yeah, that's true. Sometimes you got to just challenge yourself, go step out of your comfort zone and do things like that. As a result, we got some subscribers. It wasn't like 100 subscribers we got. We got probably around like 15 or 10, but nonetheless, it's about building those relationships. Because you'll never know who you meet along the way. Here we had a chance to interview Cabby Richards, who now works at ESPN, but before that, he was a sportscaster on TSN and The Score. And then Sean Ward, met him. He's the guy in the Joker outfit. Cool guy, but you never know that this guy has 4 million subscribers on YouTube. And the way that was orchestrated was hitting him up through the DMs on Instagram. Sometimes you got to be bold in your approach in order to make that connection. I know some of you might be hesitant, might have anxiety about approaching people, but I want you to know that it's just a natural thing to do. Don't overthink it, just do it. So my tip of the week, challenge yourself. Make sure you set up a goal, whether it is daily, weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, whatever you want, in terms of making sure that you network with people. I make sure to do this on before COVID-19 on a monthly basis, but here I am doing this with you on a weekly basis. So that's a challenge to myself. What's your challenge going to look like? Become intentionally obsessed. This means you got to be obsessed with it, but you got to have fun with it. It's got to come across natural. If you're able to connect with people, add value, pay it forward, that's what people are looking for. People are looking to connect with one another. And don't get discouraged if you don't hear back, if you drop a line in somebody's DM, but you got to always follow up with them because people get busy. Understand that there's a hidden job market. And without networking, you will not get a glimpse into the jobs that are available. A lot of the jobs that are posted on, LinkedIn or Indeed are already filled. You don't even know that, but a lot of them are. So, but to get ahead of the curve, you got to make those contacts, and that's the value that networking has. Pay it forward. When you pay it forward, I'm telling you, it comes back triple time. If you reshare, you comment on somebody's post, you introduce other people to each other to establish a connection, it always leads to coming back to you. Not that you necessarily want to do that just, intentionally to have it come back to you, but just do it with genuine effort. And then it really goes down to the DM. Slide into those DMs, send those messages. You'll never know what type of response you'll get, and you'll never know the path that it takes you down. If we didn't reach out to, Cabby Richards, Sean Ward, we wouldn't have had the opportunities to actually meet these guys. And who knows, as we continue to build on this relationship, where it takes us afterwards. And you know what? It's okay to be weird. Be yourself. You're unique. You're a unique individual. Don't overthink it. Share your story. Everybody has a story. They want to know your story, and you also want to know the other person's story. And that's the exchange of information. That's the exchange of just emotional intelligence. It's the exchange of just experiences, because that's what you're going after, right? You want to broaden your network, because at the end of the day, it's going to take you to different levels. So it's okay just to randomly hit up somebody. Me, when I met Prashant, my mentor, I was just myself, casually just sitting there on the chair, just leg crossed, just chilling. And the conversation was just natural, and that's where we were able to just establish a natural relationship. Add value. It's not always about what they could do for you, but what can you do for them? If you're looking for a job, sometimes you may ask, hey, can I take on a particular project for you? Can I do an unpaid internship for you just to gain experience? Something that's going to add value, because you're planting the seed for long-term gain. And don't ever stop. You never want to stop this. I still don't stop to this day. That's why I'm meeting with you guys on a weekly basis. Last one. Layoff lifeline. This is important. The layoff lifeline is about making sure that you have a small nucleus of people that you want to reach out to. And I'm talking about up to 10 different people. Life happens. Look at COVID-19. Jobs are impacted, right? These 10 people you want to make sure that you have within your circle, and you're engaging with them at all times, because these people are going to be your lifeline to find a job to help you get back on your feet. And remember the 3 F's. The 3 F's are follow up, which is to constantly follow up. As soon as you send a message, just don't leave it there. Follow up with that person. Follow through. If you're going to do something for somebody and you said you want to add value by, let's say, writing them a piece of content, then follow through on that promise. Follow back is you want to make sure that you nurture that relationship. And it's about, okay, well, on a frequency basis, I want to do this on a monthly or even a bi-weekly basis, right? So you got to be able to follow back. All right. So every week I've been giving out an Amazon gift card. We got one more week until it could be today if we're going to be giving out that $100 gift card. Okay. So this week we're going to be giving out 3 $10 Amazon gift cards. Here's the challenge, and this is up for grabs for all of you. So I'm going to be giving away 3. So 3 people will get $10 Amazon gift cards. The way this works is that I want you to create a gratitude jar. I didn't ask you on purpose, because usually what I do at the beginning of these sessions, I want to ask you, what you're grateful for. The reason why I want to wait until now to present this to you is that every week what I do is I have a jar. Actually, right now last year I had a jar. Now it's transformed into a shoebox. But every week, whether it be a small thing, whether it be a big thing that I'm, appreciative or I'm thankful for, it could be like, for example, meeting with you guys today. I write it down and I put it in a jar. At the end of the year, I empty out the jar, and it's pretty much a story. I able to capture all the sequences of events that led me to all the great things that have happened in my life. So I want you guys to do that as well. Get into that habit. Practice, showing gratitude and appreciation. So the challenge here is to create either a jar or a box. Send me that box as a picture, and then I'll put your name in a raffle, and then 3 people could potentially win a Amazon gift card, which means next week, if you stay with me, because we're going to offer up a big challenge, somebody will go home with $100. And just in case someone wants to know what the gratitude jar looks like, that's what mine looked like last year, and I got a shoebox, like I said, now. Okay, so Katrina, you're up. We're going to be talking to Katrina Chaves. All right. So her passions. She loves real estate development and neighborhood development, especially when it comes to affordable housing. She loves green buildings in the sense of environmental, not the actual color. But she's an avid traveler and loves to go traveling. In terms of her travels and where life has taken her, she has lived in the Philippines, Canada, and the U.S. On top of that, 3-month stints in a village in the refugee camp in Ghana. She loves connecting with people. She's lived and worked in Detroit. Shout out to Beals, because Beals lives in Detroit too. She was a director of development for the city's housing department down in Detroit. And she likes to look at, obviously oversee low-income housing and wants to rejuvenate those areas and communities. She currently works as a property officer at the city of Toronto. So let's all welcome Katrina Chaves.
Hi, everybody.
Everyone give her a high five.
Can you hear me okay?
Of course we could hear you.
Okay.
All right, so thank you for joining. So Katrina, you're on the hot seat. You remember when we first met? How did we first meet?
I do. So I moved to Toronto at the end of the summer, and I was out with some friends and was invited to a dinner party that Reggie was at. And I didn't know anybody there, actually. I knew my one friend that invited me over and was just making conversation with people, and started speaking with you, I think Rula's on the phone too. Yeah, started speaking with Rula as well, and shared my story and got to talking. And Reggie, as you guys all know, has a very particular way of connecting with people, and he was able to read me, called me out, invited me to a few events for networking, and that was it. I added him on LinkedIn, and I noticed he was doing some coaching, and so I reached out one day and just said, I'm trying to make a decision with some job offers. I would really like your input, and that was the start of it. And now here I am.
But in this case, she approached me, yeah. And I didn't even know it at that time, but she was networking. That networking led to a lot of curiosity, because I would be posting a bunch of posts on LinkedIn, and she was always curious and would ask me about, okay, what's this mastermind group that you're forming? Can you tell me more? So, and then it led to more conversations. So her curiosity and her ability to actually connect with people was awesome in terms of her networking approach. Now, what would you say, how would you describe how networking has really been beneficial to you, especially in your career?
Sure. For me, it's been absolutely fundamental. I think Reggie mentioned to you, I'm involved in neighborhood development, real estate planning, and relationships are the key to the work that I do. So I learned a lot, a lot earlier in my career to reach out to people, get their insight, get their advice, especially when trying to move deals forward. There's a process to go about doing it, and then there's the relationship side, and that, if anything, is probably more important. So it's helped me get jobs in the past. It's helped me get clients for my own consulting work. It's led me obviously to Reggie and to other folks who support me informally through my career. It's at the end of the day, for me, it's really just about connecting with people that I have shared interests with, that I find really passionate or interesting about the work that they're doing. And I managed to find a way to make it authentic to the kind of personality that I have, where I'm not just shaking your hand and trading a business card. I'm not trying to get something out of it. Initially it's really just about having that exchange and then being open to wherever that takes me, depending on, whether I'm looking for work. Like when I moved to Toronto, I quit my job in Detroit. I moved to Toronto and had to restart and rebuild my network here. Or whether it's me looking for ideas for how to move a deal forward, what are some of the challenges that, this person might have faced and how can I learn from that? So it's, for me, it's about learning from the other person and building that relationship in an organic and authentic way. I don't like to fake or to small talk. And I think some people can get it in their minds that that's what networking is you're trying to meet as many people as you can and trying to make that connection. And I think most of us can see right through that and get turned off by it. So finding a way that, for you, it feels authentic to who you really are, and being intentional about it is the way that I build my relationships.
All right, cool. So for some of the folks on the Zoom call right now with us, some of them may be a little hesitant to approach people. What would you say are your tips to kind of get over that hump and just get out there, meet people, connect with people? What would you say? What would be your tips?
Hard way, get rejected multiple times. That's the honest truth is once you get rejected like 50, 20 times, it doesn't there's no fear behind it anymore, because you see at the end of the day, it's not personal. I just pushed myself into it. I was in an environment, especially in Detroit, where relationships really and trust are the key to getting things done. And so I had to just push myself to make that cold call. If I could get a warm introduction, I would. Otherwise, it's an email or a phone call, explaining what it is that I'm interested in talking about. And some people are responsive. A lot of people are helpful and responsive, and then the ones that are not, the first few times you're like, oh, what is it about me? And then after that, you just let it go. And same thing, when I moved to Toronto, I probably sent out several different emails to folks, and at first a little bit nervous about it. And then after the 5 or 6 times that I got ignored, I don't know, I've lost count of how many times I've been rejected, but you develop a thick skin very quickly, and you realize it's not a personal thing. It's just some people are interested and some people are not, and you gravitate towards the people who have mutual interest.
Yeah, for me personally, I usually say, like, rejection is God's protection, because it kind of brings you to that person that you're supposed to meet, right? That will help guide you along your journey. So thanks for sharing that. Do you remember like some of the challenges, like when I was giving some coaching advice to you? Do you remember some of the challenges that I gave to you to help you build that muscle?
Certainly. So I know you had mentioned, Reggie had said, pick a list of 10 people, approach them, email them, DM them, whatever you need to do, and book at least one call. So I did that. I do that now naturally, as I'm trying to set something on the side. And I've emailed probably 10, at least 10, if not 10 or 20, and maybe I've gotten 2 or 3 to respond and schedule a call with me. The other one was to just reach out to folks. I work at the City of Toronto now, and so reach out to somebody there that I got a personal relationship with that I'm genuinely interested in talking to. So I did that as well. And we're not at the point where we're, monthly, we were going to do monthly coffees. Obviously, things have changed now with how we all act with each other. But he's somebody who had a shared interest in Detroit and Toronto. And so to, again, authentically, organically build that relationship. I'm not somebody who's going to follow up every 2 weeks with a call, but every month and a half or so, if there's an article that comes up, I might send that over his way, or something comes up that makes me think about a conversation we've had. So kind of feeling it out, I guess, too, in terms of how the other person is, how responsive they are to you. But getting on it, essentially, I think is what Reggie was pushing me to do, is just like make that list and reach out to them and see where it comes from that.
All right, awesome. And even going back to like the first time like we met, I always felt just from that, initial connection, your heart belonged in Detroit, right? And now I don't know if you want to share with everybody kind of like the momentum that you've been able to capture and the moves that you're trying to make in order to get back where your heart's telling you to go.
Okay, I wasn't ready to, but since you asked me to, I don't have a choice now. So I moved, I'm Canadian. I moved back here to Canada because I've been away for 5 years, and I wanted to reconnect with family and friends. So I'm here in the city of Toronto and excited to be here, excited to learn about how Toronto works, but I have a lot of heart and connection for Detroit, a lot of investment there. And I was telling, Reggie all this, and I think he called me out on it and said, you seem more like an entrepreneur than you maybe realize at this point. I don't know that a 9 to 5 is really going to work for you if you're wanting to work in multiple places, and maybe need to think on that. And I rejected it initially quite strongly. And said, I'm here in Canada. I need to stay put. I need to figure out what kind of job I can get here and build my career. But since then, I've actually enrolled in my builder's course. I'm going to work towards getting my general contractor's license. I've realized I want to still do my work in Detroit. I still want to find a way, and I've been part of networking, reaching out to folks who I've seen are running businesses in multiple cities. There's a few guys in particular who have an office in Detroit and Toronto, and I reached out to them. I have a call with him next Tuesday just to learn more about how he's managing to do that. And I'm working towards setting up my own real estate development and construction company, a small scale woman-owned one. So that's going to require a lot of networking on my part to learn how people in my position have kind of moved that forward. And like I said, that's what drives me with my networking, is I'm very intentional about who I'm reaching out to and have specific, questions and interests. And that's why I'm reaching out to them. And I think their responsiveness is because they know that that's what I'm here for. I'm here to learn, and I share their passion and their interest. There's podcasts that I'm listening to learn more about this. And those guys, I don't hesitate to reach out to as well, because they're open to it, I think. As well as LinkedIn, there's a career advice feature on there, and people who've signed up, they're signing up, so they're already opening themselves up to being contacted. I reach out to those folks as well and try to get their advice in terms of, how do you transition from being a 9 to 5 to running your side business, and then eventually at some point transitioning to a full-on, entrepreneurial role. So it's huge. My life has taken quite a significant change in direction over the last 3 months since Reggie and I met and had been working together on coaching. And he really got me on that path to say, okay, what is your vision? Get clear on that. And now that you're clear on your vision, do you recognize like you're going to have to step outside of the box to make this happen? This is not going to, the dreams you have for yourself, it's not going to be possible if you're stuck 9 to 5 in a specific role and you're wanting to play it safe. You're going to have to take some risks. And that is what I'm doing slowly. You're seeing,
she's got a big heart. She's got a big heart, and she's following that heart, right? Follow that heartbeat. So I'm proud of you.
But in a calculated and invested way. I'm not just like quitting my day job and going off to start this business tomorrow. I want to be clear about that, because I quit my job, moved here and tried to find a new job, and it's not for everybody. It takes a lot to start over from scratch. So I'm doing it a little bit differently this time around.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Katrina. Yeah, we need to put you in contact with Kevin Beal. He's on the chat too. He lives in Detroit, Detroit
Sure.
native. He's
Hey,
cousins
Kevin.
with Eminem, so you
Yeah,
guys might
thank
be
you.
able to produce some music or
Cool.
develop some communities. Who knows?
Nice to meet you.
Okay, quick, because time we're running out of time. What's the first thing you're going to do when the dust settles after this whole COVID-19 thing is done?
I am going down to Detroit to look at some properties and
Awesome.
gonna get my business incorporated
All
so that
right.
in a year or two I can start making some moves.
Cool. Everybody, give Katrina an air high five. She did awesome.
Thanks,
Thanks for
guys.
sharing, Katrina. Appreciate your time. All right. So if you want to get in contact with her, connect with her on LinkedIn. Good job, everybody, for staying in contact here on the chat. Appreciate all you guys. I'm going to announce the winner of the Amazon challenge just before we go. Let's get that drum roll going. Woo! I'm excited. $50. I hope I won. We got Carly Gagno. You won. Air high five, Carlene. All right, congratulations. I'll send you that Amazon gift card, and then you can probably buy me something special. Thank you, Carlene. Anyways, I want to say thank you for all of you tuning in. I appreciate your time. You could have been somewhere else, but you're doing this with me, so thank you all. Continue to network, connect with everybody. If you have any feedback, drop me a line through my email or sync up with me on LinkedIn. All right. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Take care.